Good evening, DFS Jaggers. How are you doing? My name is Riku Mukherjee. This is the DFS Jags podcast for DraftKings Golf. We do this every week. I am rolling solo tonight. Tony is on a wonderful golf trip to Ohio this week. He is getting to play Firestone Country Club, which we've seen many times on the PGA Tour. I think Tiger's won like 7 times there, so I'm very jealous of him getting to play a sick course in Ohio. I think he's playing a few other private courses, so very jealous. So he is not going to be joining us tonight. It is just going to be me. If you're new to the channel, which I think some of you are, we do this every single week. My Twitter handle is right below me. If you ever have any questions or concerns or anything about DFS, feel free to reach out to me. I will answer your questions. I do this every single week. I play DraftKings pretty heavily, so I think I know what I'm talking about here. Before I start talking about the Open for last week, if you are new here, please like the video, please comment, please subscribe to Nickel City Mafia on YouTube. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be a very, very nice goal. We've been doing this golf podcast now for a year, and we're well over 500 subscribers. So we're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. We have football right around the corner, which is a show me and Chris do every week. So we'll be talking about we'll be doing some shows shortly, preparing for fantasy football season. But before that, we still have some golf to do before the end of the golf season. Great week last week. We hit another winner. I hit another winner, double winner on the show. Tony rode my heater last week and bet Cam Smith. I think he got him maybe at 30-1 or 25 or 30-1. I got him at 28-1. That is 3 straight winners for me, and 4 out of the last 5 going back to Matt Fitzpatrick at the U.S. Open. Then I had Poston at the John Deere Classic, Xander at the Scottish Open, and then Cam Smith at the Open. It was a great tournament. I thought this past week was magical. I think I was the only person on the planet rooting for Cam Smith on Sunday. I think every single other person on the planet was rooting for Rory. I even, at my heartstrings, I wanted to see Rory win. He hasn't won a major in 8 years. He's basically the face of golf right now, and he had a 4-stroke lead going into Sunday, but just couldn't make a putt on Sunday. I don't know what else to say about Rory. He literally had 36 putts. He hit every single green in regulation and 2 putted every single green on Sunday. When you do that on Sunday, and then Cam Smith goes out and has 12 putts on the back 9 and birdies 5 straight, you're going to get boat raced. And that's exactly what Cam Smith did. He fired a 64 on Sunday, came from behind, and now he's a champion golfer of the year. What else is there to say about Cam Smith? He's been phenomenal this year, man. I've hit him 2 out of his 3 wins. I hit him at the Tournament of Champions. Tony hit him at the Players. I hit him at the Open. Tony hit him again at the Open. So he's been really, really profitable for us this year. Now there's rumors of him going to Live. I'm not going to really talk about that. We'll see if and when it actually happens. Funny story about Cam Smith. One of my good friends was traveling back from Scotland, completely unrelated, like on a regular vacation, and he ended up in the same plane with Cam Smith on his way back from Scotland, and they flew together to DC, and then I think Cam had a connecting flight to Florida back home, and my friend who lives in DC went home there. But he said he was just getting mobbed by person after person trying to take photos with him. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, man, Sunday was pretty magical. Outside of hitting the winner betting wise, DraftKings was pretty good for me. Sunday showdown wise, I finished 3rd in a Sunday showdown GPP for about 3,000, which kind of saved my DraftKings week. Even though I was pretty heavy on Cam Smith this week in DraftKings, I just couldn't get the right pieces around him. A lot of chalky busts and Ryan Fox and a couple other names that were chalky that I have in my lineups that ended up missing the cut. But Cam Smith definitely did it for me on Sunday showdown. I faded in that lineup that I almost won the GPP, which was 20K to first. I ended up winning 3,000 in third. I faded Vic and Rory up top and had Cam Young and Cam Smith right below him to anchor my lineup, basically. So he did a lot for me this week. Other than that, I'm kind of frustrated. I didn't play as much Cam Young that I usually do. I've been playing him every single week this year, even through his tough times, and I finally got off of him. I didn't play him. I mean, I played him a little bit, but just mainly because he was on a good weather draw, so he was on my like morning, Thursday morning teams that I played. Very, very little, and didn't make any of my main lineups, which I was pretty sad about. What's there to say about him? He's finished second at the PGA, and he finished second now at the Open Championship. He's just phenomenal. And even though he had a couple bad weeks, we can cut him some slack from that. He's a rookie on tour. What else is he supposed to do? He's going to have some bad weeks. So I'm going to go back to him. I'm going to go right back to him when he's playing again. I'm going to bet him again. And I think a win is right around the corner for him. If it's not going to be this season, maybe during the swing season, he'll definitely get a win by the end of the calendar year, in my opinion. Other than that, from the top of the leaderboard, like we already talked about, Rory couldn't make a putt. Oh, by the way, the up and down by Cam Smith at the 17th road hole from behind that pot bunker, the road hole bunker, was one of the best up and downs I've ever seen. I thought he was going to chip it, but he didn't. If he chipped it, I don't think he would have gotten it within like 20 feet, probably 20, 25 feet. So he decided to putt it around the bunker and try to get it as close as possible, hit the perfect putt there, got it to within 12 feet and drained the putt. And that hole basically won him the tournament at the end of the day. Cam Young makes a sick eagle on 18. But Cam Smith does his thing and gets up and down from greenside to get to 20 under, breaks the championship scoring record, breaks Tiger's record of -19 at St. Andrews. Just phenomenal from him. Phenomenal display, champion golfer of the year. I love Cam Smith. I'd be really sad to see him go to LIV. He'd be the first guy, if he goes to LIV, that would actually be kind of a gut punch for me. Every single guy that's gone so far, I don't really care about that much. But if Cam Smith goes, I would be pretty sad. But other guys from the top of the leaderboard, Tommy Fleetwood, T4, Victor Hovland, who started off the day 4 strokes ahead, played a very, very poor round on Sunday, shot a 74. First top 10 in a major for Vic. He's going to be there. He's young, man. I'm not worried about Vic. He's going to win majors in his career. He's going to be in contention many times in his career. So his first taste of the final group on a Sunday in a major championship, plays a bad round. Not that worried about it. Pretty standard stuff. I am surprised at his week. He had terrible form coming in. He lost his golf clubs last week and stuff like that, and very, very low owned. He was a very low owned play that you should have played in your lineups, him and Cam Young both. That could have potentially won you $1 million this week. Fleetwood T4, he's been showing great form. Brian Harmon sneaks into a top 6 there with a great Sunday. He was also on my Sunday Showdown team. Then we got 2 LIV guys and one other potential LIV guy, and DJ and Bryson, who played well on Sunday. They were never really in contention to win, but pretty good showing from the LIV guys. Patrick Cantlay, also a top 10, shooting a -4 on Sunday, and Spieth who's also phenomenal in links golf, rounding that out top 10 on Sunday. The main guy that really hurt me this past week was Xander. I was really, really heavy on him. I think I had him in like 60 to 70% of my lineups. He played well. He got top 15, don't get me wrong, but when you are playing him at 70% of your lineups, you need him to finish in the top 5 to really, really pay off and shoot you up the leaderboard. But overall, DraftKings wise, I finished even for the week. Luckily, thank God, to Sunday. I was down going into Sunday, but I was able to scrounge back and break even week because of Sunday Showdown. Other than that, I don't really have any other takes from last week. The course is a little weird in the sense that you kind of just bomb it out there and just kind of hope for some lucky breaks and avoiding pot bunkers and avoiding some humps and bumps and just. It's cool in the sense that you get to drive a lot of greens and try to get up and down for birdie instead of like a U.S. Open where you're hitting long irons and trying to make birdie and stuff like that. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of what we call a Mickey Mouse kind of course. I feel like if I ever had a chance to play there, I could probably play well there. I could probably easily break 90 there. If I had good conditions. Obviously their biggest defense is the wind and conditions, and I don't think I could break 90 on a tough weather day, but on a sunny day with no wind, that course I think is pretty easy enough where given my skill as an 11 handicap golfer, hopefully I'll get to play it one day. I think I could break 90, but The last thing I'll talk about as far as last week is Tiger. Obviously, a very poor showing on the golf course. He missed the cut. I think he was like 7 or 8 over. But who cares? I don't care. Overall, for the year, I just was happy to be able to see Tiger compete in major championships this year. I did not think that was going to happen, given his horrific car accident last year. I don't care that he wasn't able to compete this year. I don't care that he didn't win any tournaments this year. It does not matter to me. He played enough for me to be happy this year. Hopefully next year, after rehabbing his leg a little bit more, he comes back with a little bit more competitive fire, and he's able to maybe make a run at a major championship next year. We'll see. But what we got out of Tiger this year, I'm fine with it. And getting to see him play at the 150th British Open at St. Andrews, walking over the smoking bridge on 18 by himself with Matt Fitzpatrick and Max Homa trailing behind him. The crowd just, him tipping his cap to the crowd, passing Rory, who was playing the first hole at that time, who tipped his cap to Tiger. All we can really say is thank you to him. Thank you for everything you've done. I get a little emotional just thinking about it. Just thank you for everything he's done for the game of golf. What I've seen him do over the course of my life, just absolutely phenomenal golf in the early 2000s and mid 2000s to when I got to saw him win his Masters a couple years ago live in person. So big tip of the cap to Tiger. I have a feeling he still has another run in him next year at a major. But yeah, other than that, I was just really happy with what we got to see out of him next year. Just go take some time off this winter, go play in the hit and giggles like the PNC Father-Son Championship and the Hero World Challenge, which is his tournament. Play those events, whatever. Not really concerned about that. And then just kind of gear up and see if you can get ready for Augusta again next April. And that's pretty much it with Tiger. I hope to see him back and in the top 10 in majors next year, maybe even making a run on a Sunday next year, which would be nice after he rehabs his leg a little bit more. But other than that, just thank you for everything, Tiger, this year. It was phenomenal to watch you play golf again. Yeah, that's my recap for the Open. Hopefully we can hit another winner this week, which could make it 4 in a row for me, 5 out of the last 6. We'll get into all that in a few minutes, but that's all I really got from the Open. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My body's getting back to normal clock hours now because I did spend a lot of time Thursday and Friday nights, especially on the West Coast, where lock was at like 11 p.m. at night, watching golf all through the night and not getting a lot of sleep. But my body is adjusting back to normal time now, and I'm ready to get back into stateside golf. This week we have the 3M Open, which is in Minneapolis, I believe, somewhere in Minnesota, at TPC Twin Cities. This is a kind of a birdie fest kind of course. The only thing this course really has as defense is water. There's 27 water hazards on the course. The course reads as 7,200 yards, par 71, but it's actually a little shorter than that because the course actually plays at a little bit of altitude. So even though there's some long par 4s and long par 5s, I think the par 5s are definitely still reachable by the majority of the golfers in the field because of the altitude. And like I said, if you can avoid the water hazards here, you're going to contend and play well here. We've seen the water be the biggest defense here, and since there's so many, it comes into play on almost every hole. That's going to cause a lot of your golfers to make some bogeys and double bogeys because they're going to hit the water hazards. If you can somehow avoid them, you need some accurate players. You can pretty much do well this week. And we'll get into the pricing in the field in a minute, but a couple more things about the course. It's like I said, 7,200 yards, 71 par 71. It is bent grass greens. And like I said, it's basically a birdie fest. It was designed originally by Arnold Palmer and then redesigned by Tom Lehman to make it a PGA Tour course. It used to be a seniors course, and then they redesigned it, made it a little bit longer. The past couple of years, the winners have been Cam Champ, Michael Thompson, and Matthew Wolf the last 3 years in this iteration of this tournament. It's only been around for 3 years, so those are the 3 winners. The least important statistic this week is going to be around the green play. I think all 3 winners have won this tournament with with negative gaining strokes, losing strokes around the green. So what we're looking at is bombers that are accurate and good putters on bent grass. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about the course. As far as statistics go, it's basically, like I said, a glorified putting contest. 42% of the strokes gained come from the flat stick, 7%, which is 7% more than a normal tournament. 19% come from off the tee, which is about 4% higher than the average tournament. So basically, at the end of the day, for this tournament, you're going to want guys to find the fairways, find the greens, and make putts. So that's what we are. We're kind of back to what we were at a few weeks ago at the John Deere Classic with the Birdie Fest. Similar kind of field this week. Very, 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 very crappy field. There's a few guys at the top that are coming back from the Open. We'll get into it right now. So that's all I really got to say about the course. So just avoid the water, make putts, and you guys are going to be in contention. So kicking it off here at the top, a little weird with the pricing this week. No one in the 11K, which is the first time I can remember in a really long time. We got 3 guys only in the 10K range, who are Tony Finau, Hideki Matsuyama, and Sungjae Im. All 3 of these guys played in the Open last week. All 3 guys made the cut and played all 4 rounds in the Open last week. I'm going to fade all 3 here. I'm going to stick to my guns here this week and play very little of the guys that made the cut last week and had to travel after Sunday's tournament back to the United States, getting their body used to a different time zone again, and having to gear up and play another tournament this week in what is supposed to be very, very hot weather in Minnesota this week. I think there's going to be a little bit of lag and a little bit of laziness when it comes to a lot of these guys that are coming back from last week. So all 3 of these guys I'm going to fade. If you're going to hold a gun to my head and make me pick one of these guys, it's going to be Tony Finau, just because of his incredible form coming into this tournament, his incredible course history here. He has a 28th, a 3rd, and a 23rd at this course in his 3 years. But I do fear the travel back to America and getting geared up again for another tournament. And then on top of that, Tony Finau is going to be the highest owned player on the slate. Looking at over 30% ownership on a Monday, which is an easy fade for me. So I am going to start all my lineups in the 9K range. Not all my lineups, but most of my lineups in the 9K range. I could see myself starting in the 8K range. But it's one of those weeks similar to the John Deere a couple weeks ago where basically, you can do whatever you want with your lineups. You can start in the 8K, you can even start in the 7K if you want. There's just such little margin between the guys in the 9K and the guys in the 7K that you can just play whoever you want in these ranges, and your lineup construction doesn't really matter at the end of the day, especially for me, where I'm going to fade the top 3 guys, and I'm going to start in the 9K range. Just pick your pivots. Like I'll talk about who the guys are going to be that's going to be popular. Just don't play them. Just get off the popular guys, play the lower owned guys, and just hope to get lucky at the end of the day. But yeah, these three guys at the top, like I said, Tony Finau, going to be highest owned guy on the slate. Great incoming form. People are going to want to play Tony Finau. I'll stay away. Hideki, I think his mind's a little bit on live. I don't really understand. I thought he was going to go to live after the Open. Maybe he's going to stick it out till after the FedEx Cup, but I don't like him this week. Sungjae's just been a broken man. A lot of missed cuts ever since he got COVID. I'm just out on all 3 of these guys, so I'll fade all 3. But if you hadn't made me pick, I would just play Tony Finau out of the 3. Dropping down to the 9K range, we have Sahith Theegala at the top at 9,800. Adam Hadwin, Maverick McNeely, Davis Riley, and that's it. So another small range, a CH3 withdrew, so don't play CH3. Very, very small range here, 5 guys only. And I'm just going to continue my theme and fade Sahith Theegala too. He had a miscut here a couple years ago. He made the cut at the Open last week, so the travel back to America. I'll just fade him, and I will play the guys towards the bottom of this range. My highest owned guy this week is probably going to be Davis Riley. I'm going to start a lot of lineups with Davis Riley. Davis Riley didn't travel overseas, so he's been here. He's adjusted to the time, and he's just been playing phenomenal over the last 2 to 3 months. And I think this is the time for him to gear it up and win a tournament here. He's my pick to win this week. He's going to be a bet for me. He's going to be my highest owned player. So my one and done pick is going to be Davis Riley this week. I called it last week with my one and done being Cam Smith, and my pick to win last week. My pick to win this week is going to be Davis Riley. The other guy I like in this range is going to be Mag McNeely. He's been playing pretty well. He played really well at the Barracuda last week. 16th place finish here last year. Lead-in form's pretty good with a 9th and a 16th in his last few times out, and an 8th place finish before that. The fade for me here, besides Sahith Theegala, is going to be Adam Hadwin. And he's going to be popular. He's had 2 good finishes here, 2 top 10 finishes here. But after what he did to me at the John Deere when he was my highest owned player, he was in my main lineup and just playing like absolute trash, I can't go back to him. $9,600 Adam Hadwin, who is in reality a $7,000 golfer. I can't pay that price at $9,600. So I will fade Adam Hadwin from just a pure can't stand him at the moment kind of play. He's going to be high owned. I'm seeing about 23% ownership. If you needed to pivot to someone from Adam Hadwin, I would just pivot up to Sahith Theegala. Theegala is going to be the lowest owned guy in this range, but I'll just fade. Basically, I'm going to fade the top 5 guys on the board here. Finau, Matsuyama, Theegala, Hadwin. I'm going to have a lot of McNeely. I'm going to have a lot of Riley. And then dropping down to the AKs, I'm going to have a lot of Cam Davis. Cam Davis is my second pick to win this tournament. He played absolutely phenomenal last week at the Barracuda at a birdie fest where the course is reasonably short. I love Cam Davis in this situation. Just avoid the water and make some putts, Cam, and he's going to be really good. So dropping down in the 8K range, another small range, we got Cam Davis at 8,900, Cam Tringali at 8,800, all the way down to Nick Hardy at $8,000. Like I said, I'm going to play Cam Davis. He's going to be my highest owned guy in this range. I am going to fade Cam Tringali. That's going to be tough because he played really well at the Scottish. He played all right at the Open Championship, but he's played 2 weeks in a row in Scotland. He made the cut at both events. Pretty tired, I would think, playing 8 rounds the last 2 weeks overseas. I will fade Cam Tringali, 8,800, who's, once again, another $7,000 golfer, usually at 8,800, going to be owned at 20%. I will fade him. I would even fade him and maybe even consider pivoting down to Chez Reavie, who's going to be the lowest owned guy in this range, besides Mark Hubbard, who withdrew, so don't play Mark Hubbard. Chez Reavie coming in less than 10% ownership. He won last week at the Barracuda, so obviously the form coming in is pretty good. Short course, had an 11th place finish here last year. I like Chez Reavie this week. And the other guys I like in this range also, Adam Long, 25th place finish here last year, 2nd place a couple years ago. I don't mind him. Brendan Steele coming in with great form. I don't mind Brendan Steele. I like Nick Hardy, who's coming in with great form with a 13th place finish and a 30th place finish recently. Martin Laird, who played good last week, 3rd place finish at the Barracuda. He's a birdie maker. I don't mind him either. But the bubble guy for me here is going to be JT Poston. JT Poston did really well for us a few weeks ago at the John Deere. Winning the John Deere got him into the Open where he missed the cut. So I don't mind the guys that missed the cut last week because he traveled back on Friday, which gives him an extra few days to get acclimated back to American time and stuff like that. And we just saw him do it a few weeks ago, the John Deere, at a similar kind of track where you got to make birdies. And over the last 36 rounds or last 24 rounds in this field, the number one guy that gaining strokes total on the field is Tony Finau. Number 2 guy, JT Poston. So he's going to be a bubble play for me. I haven't really decided what I want to do with him. I'm probably going to play him, but I don't think I'm going to be like too overweight field on him because he was in Scotland last week. But I might just be like even to the field with him this week. So he's going to be a bubble play for me. But overall, my top play is definitely Cam Davis. My second favorite play in this range is probably going to be Brendan Steele. And then, like I said, I like the other guys, Bubble Boy Poston, and then I'm going to completely fade Cam Tringali, just continuing my trend of fading guys that made the cut last week at the Open. Dropping down into the 7K range, I'll talk 7,500 to 7,900. We kick it off at the top with everyone's favorite, Chris Gotterup and Ryan Palmer at 7,900, and then all the way down to the likes of CT Pan and Matthew Neesmith and Wyndham Clark at 7,500. So I'm going to go to Gotterup. I know he's going to be popular. I've been playing Gotterup. I will eat the chalk with him. The obvious pivot for Gotterup this week is going to be Jason Day, who is going to be severely lower owned than him. He's going to be about 1/3 the ownership of Chris Gotterup, but I cannot play Jason Day. I will not play Jason Day. He sucks. Chris Gotterup, I will play. I think his ownership might not be that high, especially with the fact that he played pretty bad at the Barbasol a couple weeks ago, where he missed the cut at an alternate field event. So I think that might steam his ownership down a little bit. But before that, he finished 4th at the John Deere, 35th before that. So if we continue this trend of guys who I liked at the John Deere, I'm going to roll with Chris Gotterup this week at 7,900. The other guys I like in this upper 7K range, I'll go back to Cam Champ. He's one of those guys that I don't really care about lead-in form. He's missed a few cuts in a row. I don't care about that with Cam Champ. He won this tournament last year. He's one of those guys that just pops up at random events. And we've seen a trend this year of multiple guys repeating, repeat champions from tournaments the previous year. I don't see any reason why Cam Champ cannot do it again. So I will go to Cam Champ. The most popular guy in this range, without a doubt, is going to be Adam Svensson at 7,600. This price is just way too low for Svensson. He has a 15th place finish here a few years ago, and his lead-in form has been absolutely phenomenal. 6th, 24th, 25th, 21st. So he has nothing but top 25 finishes his last 4 times out. Priced at 7,600 at a Birdie Fest, everyone's going to go to Svensson. So I'm not really sure what to do with Svensson. I like him this week, but if I'm going to pick the chalk with Gotterup this week, I think I might have to fade Svensson. It's going to be tough to eat both of those chalks this week. So I think I'm going to have to fade one and play the other. I lean more towards Gotterup just because I think he's a better player at the end of the day. That's tough to say for someone that's a rookie and only had like 4 PGA starts. But I think I'd rather go to Gotterup in this situation and fade Svensson. But I would understand if you want to go to Svensson just because the value just seems too good at 7,600. I will go back to CT Pan. He was in my main lineup a few weeks ago at the John Deere. He played phenomenal at the John Deere. He's coming in super low on this week, looking like 7 to 8%. So I will definitely be overweight the field on CT Pan. I'll go back to Grillo, whose form coming in has been pretty good. He has bad tournament history here, but his form coming in is pretty good. So I'll go back to some Emiliano Grillo. My fades in this range are going to be Jason Day and Ryan Palmer, like I said. My bubble boy in this range, who I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, is going to be Ricky Fowler. He kind of showed me a little bit coming in for the 47th place finishes last time out. And Dylan Fratelli is also kind of a bubble boy for me. He finished 28th at the Open last week. So if I'm going to continue and stick to my guns and someone who made the cut at the Open last week and fade him, I might do that also with Fratelli, but I can't deny the fact the last 2 weeks he's been playing really good. He played at the Scottish 2, made the cut, and he's been striking the ball really well. So we'll decide what to do on Fratelli and Fowler later in the week. I'll probably make a decision. I'll probably if I was going to pick between those two, I think I'd rather go to Fratelli just because his form's been good and fade Fowler. But Fowler, 34th place finisher last year, pretty good. He's shown me something. So I know it's tough to stomach a 7,700 over Ricky Fowler right now, but I don't mind going to him this week. That's all I really got from the upper 7K range. So let's drop down to the lower 7K range, 7,400 to 7,000. Let me just take a quick sip of water, guys. 7,400 to 7,000, like I said, which starts off with Troy Merritt and Austin Smotherman and Lucas Glover, all the way down to the 7,000 range, where we got people like Adam Schenk and Michael Gligic and Callum Tarrant and Nate Lashley. So The guys I like in the lower 7K range, I'll go to Austin Smotherman. I've been playing him a lot this year. He's coming in off an 8th place finish at his last time out. I'll go to him. He has no course history here. His first time playing here. I like Smotherman and Birdie Fest. I will go to him. I'll go to Doug Gim, who's been playing pretty well. He had a miscut his last time out, but coming off a miscut, a little flop-like situation. He had a 16th place finish a couple times ago. I don't mind Doug Gim. Matthias Schwab, I like him. He has a 32nd place finish here a couple of years ago. Kazire at 7,100, 3 out of 3 made cuts here, all top 40 finishes. At the flat min 7,000, Michael Gligic, I think his name is. He's a Canadian player. He's coming in with pretty good form. I think he has, let's see here. There's a 49th and a 26th here. He's coming in off of 4 straight made cuts his last 4 times out. So I don't mind some Michael Gligic here. Tyler Duncan's good in Birdie Fest. Hayden Buckley is good in Birdie Fest. I don't mind those names. The guys I'm going to fade in this range are going to be Michael Thompson, who won this tournament a couple years ago. And I just don't like his form coming in. I think he's been playing pretty bad golf this year, so I will fade him. Another guy I will fade in this range is Tom Hoagie, who was really good earlier this year, but he has just fallen off of a cliff. I don't know what to say about Tom Hoagie. He has, let's count here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, my tournament history only goes 5, so he has 5 straight miscuts, maybe more. I don't really know what he did before that. So Tom Hoagie, completely out on him. He had a miscut here last year, totally out on him. Now, the guy that I don't know what to do within this range is going to be Ju Young Kim, Tom Kim. He did really well for me a couple weeks ago at the Scottish. He played pretty well for me last week. I had him in a couple main lineups at the Open. He made the cut both weeks. He finished 3rd at the Scottish. He has, if you guys don't know, he's 20 years old. And he has won a lot on the Asian Tour, but now announced today, the PGA Tour actually gave him special membership on the PGA Tour. So we are only going to see him on the PGA Tour now instead of Asian Tour events, and he is really effing good. That's all I can really say about him. But if I'm going to continue to stick to my guns and fade guys that have played in Scotland the last 2 weeks, played 8 rounds in Scotland the last 2 weeks, the thing is, he's 20 years old, so he could probably get up and get his butt together and go play another golf tournament this week. That's all these 20-year-olds really do, is go play golf every week. But I'm a little weary on him. I like the price at 7,300. But he is going to be highly owned. He's going to definitely be between 10 to 15% owned. So I could see fading him this week. Just from an ownership perspective, and then dropping down to guys like Schwab or Kazire or Gligic, like I said. But it's going to be tough for me to fade him, especially because I played him in a lot of main lineups the last 2 weeks. But I think I really want to stick to my guns and fade these guys that are coming back over from overseas this week. So he's probably going to be a fade for me, but I might last-minute decision on Wednesday decide to play a little bit of Tom Kim. So if I was going to rank my plays here, my favorite play is going to be Austin Smotherman. My second favorite play is probably going to be Patton Kazire. And then my third favorite play is Gligic at 7,000. And then my fades are going to be Michael Thompson and Tom Hoagie. And my bubble boy here this week is going to be Tom Kim, or Ju Young Kim, as his name is on DK. Drops off of a pretty quick cliff going into the 6K range. There's a lot of really bad golfers here in the 6K range. A couple guys I like. I'll start it right here at the top of the 6K range at 6,900. I like Bryce Garnett. He has nothing but top 25 finishes at this course the last 3 years: the 16th, the 25th, and the 23rd. He had a 16th place finish his last time out. Don't mind Bryce Garnett at 6,900. Hank Labiota. He was in my main lineup last year. He played 2 good rounds, made the cut, and then withdrew after the second round due to personal reasons. I don't really know what happened. I think something to do with his dad. The previous 2 years, he made the cut, a 26th and the 34th place finish. The 2 years before that, I will go back to some hammer and Hank Labiota at 6,900. Ryan Armour, I don't mind him. Let's see where he's at. He's at 6,900 also, 6th place finish here last year. Don't mind some Ryan Armour at a Birdie Fest. He showed me something a couple weeks ago. I think it was the John Deere somewhere where he was a late add to the field and played pretty well. Sam Ryder at a birdie fest. He makes eagles like no other. He makes birdies like no other. He makes a lot of bogeys too, but 25th place finish here last year, miscut the year before, 34th the year before. Don't mind some Sam Ryder. Bo Hogue, 6,800, 2 top 15 finishes here the last 2 years, a 15th and a 12th. Not many people know anything about Bo Hogue, but he's one of those guys that just, a young guy that we don't really know much about, but at 6,800, 2 top 20 finishes, I could go to some Bo Hogue. Austin Cook at 6,700. He's been playing pretty well recently. A string of made cuts in a row. I'm seeing 5 made cuts in a row. His form here at this tournament is not that great. He made the cut here a couple years ago, but 2 missed cuts around that. But lead-in form is coming in pretty good, so I don't mind some Austin Cook. Brian Stewart, who is a guy that makes putts and is very accurate, 6,600, had a 6th place finish here last year. Dropping down a little bit more, Bo Van Pelt at 6,400, 28th place finish here last year, 65th place finish here the year before. Coming in off of 2 made cuts in a row, I don't mind some Bo Van Pelt at 6,400 as a pure punt play. And then the last guy who's also a pure punt play would be Jason Duffner. The guy's been absolutely trashed this year, but he has 3 made cuts at this tournament the last 3 years. He has actually made the cut the last 2 weeks, the last 2 times he's played. So maybe a little bit of form from Jason Duffner, but a bunch of missed cuts before that. I could go to some Jason Duffner at almost the min price at 6,200. I don't really have anybody else down here. These are all kind of crappy players. Cole Hammer at 6,500. If you guys don't know who Cole Hammer is, he's a up-and-coming star in the collegiate ranks. I think this is one of his first or second PGA Tour starts, similar to what we were dealing with Goddard. I just don't think Cole Hammer is as good of a golfer as the likes of Sahith Theegala and Chris Goddard, guys who have been Haskins Awards winner the last couple of years. But if you want to take a pure punt play on a guy who we don't know what his upside is, 6,500 Cole Hammer is not that bad. That's all I really got. No one down at the $6,000 range. Marty Fish is in this field, who's a professional tennis player. They gave him a special exemption this week, but he's pretty good, actually. He always is in contention at those celebrity pro-am tournaments and stuff like that. He's a good golfer, but I'm not really sure if they gave him and just let him play or if he actually earned his way into the tournament. But I'm not going to play any Marty Fish, but it'll be cool to see a professional tennis player play in an actual professional PGA Tour event. But yeah, those are all my plays this week. Just to kind of recap, my favorite play on the whole board is going to be Davis Riley. He's my pick to win. And then just kind of going down, I like Cam Davis, Chris Goddard, Austin Smotherman. Those are my top plays kind of in every range. I'm going to fade the top 3 guys on the board here. I'm going to fade the top 5 guys actually on the board here and start my lineups with Matt McNeely and Davis Riley and Cam Davis. All right, that is everything I got for DraftKings for this tournament. The last thing before we wrap up the show are my bets, which have been pretty hot fire the last few weeks. Not to toot my own horn, but hopefully we can hit another winner this week. So like I said, I got some Cam Davis and Davis Riley, both at 25-1, Steele at 35-1, JT Poston, I'll go back to him, 35-1, Nick Hardy at 40, Svensson at 45, Chris Goddard up at 50, and Cam Champ to possibly repeat at 66-1. Then my bombs, we got Michael Gligic at 120, Bryce Garnett and Hank Labiota both at 140, Sam Ryder at 150, Ryan Armour also at 150, Bo Hogue at 250, and Brian Stewart wrapping up my card at 300-1. The bombs are just very, very small sprinkles. My major units here are going to be Davis Riley and Cam Davis, and then my medium-sized units will be the rest of the guys on the left side of the card there. That's all my bets for the week. I will try to get Tony to tweet out his bets for the week. And we have a fantasy football show coming up with me and Chris soon to preview the rookies and the upcoming fantasy football season. We will tweet out when that will be. I'm not 100% sure when that will be, but it will be very soon within the next week or two. Mike, thank you for producing this show this week. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or tweet at me at Riku Mukherjee right there. And good luck to everyone out there. Let's hit another winner. Let's try to win a couple GPPs on DraftKings and have a profitable week. And I hope you guys have a good week. Thanks for bearing with me this week, and we'll see you next week.